Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Centercourt Weekly Show, the 11th edition of the year. It's a chillax kind of show today. I'm just, hanging out. You're the star of the show, Chad Andrews. Thank you for joining me. I'm just a nobody.
Thanks for joining me, Frank, keeping me on schedule,
Yeah.
being
I'll
our
keep
host.
you on schedule.
Thanks,
today.
Tony, for supporting this endeavor, making it possible. The sponsorship from Empire Electric.
Did you turn your volume down on your phone, or is it on vibrate?
My phone?
Yeah.
It's nothing. I don't know.
Just in case, so we're not disturbed.
My ringer is off.
Your ringer's off? I'm just checking mine to make sure mine ringer's off. Not that it's going to ring. Nobody calls me. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. But if you want to hear what Chad has to say, if you have a question for Chad about a team, a program, his rankings, the fact that he still has a nice, beautiful, full head of hair, unlike me, you want to ask us questions, go ahead. Tim Gardner's producing
You
the
didn't
show.
spend so much time shaving that dome every morning. You'd have the same.
First time I shaved it this week. I shaved it today. Brand new razor. That's all you need to know. But no, I don't like those things.
The Floby? Remember the Floby?
They have a razor like with 5 blades on around.
That scares me. It feels like it's going to take extra skin and rip it off, and that's all I need.
Max version now is like 15.
Yeah,
Your hair
not a big fan of those. I get worried. Why do you don't use it? Do you? What would you use it for? It's for another show.
Here we go.
All right, Chad. Last night you were at Park. I was asking you. It's been a while since I've been in that gym. How was it? You were at the Park. Who were they playing? Buffalo Academy Science.
They played Buffalo Science, yeah. It was my first time seeing either team, Buffalo Science or Park this year. Buffalo Science was a Section 6 finalist last year in Class A2. They lost a 2-point game, I think it was, to Lackawanna for the championship. Brought a lot back. They, I think, came in with 11-5 record. Pretty good team Buffalo Science has.
Yeah.
Now, conversely, if you're looking at records, Park enters the game 4-11, and the record doesn't look so good. 2 of their wins this season had been over Buffalo Arts. They defeated Cardinal O'Hara once, and then there was another victory someplace. I think it was West Seneca West. So if you're just looking at the record, you're saying, Park, are they any good? They're very good.
Yeah.
That's a good basketball team I went and watched last night. It was actually a really good game. High scoring, like 87-80. Park put up a season high in points. Very competitive game back and forth. Buffalo Science can really score it. Would say, defense probably lacking a little bit in the game, but that doesn't necessarily bother me when I'm just looking for some good entertainment. So
Good.
Cam Barge is a player for that Park school.
Yeah.
That's a kid.
Did he come
who-
from somewhere?
He was
like-
at Tapestry.
Yeah.
And he transferred from Tapestry
Okay.
into Park a couple years ago. He can just score the ball. He leads them on Senior Martin in scoring. Nice kid. If he was at Tapestry, he's on an a team that until last night was undefeated. And I think that they have a very good shot of winning a sectional title this year. But he's over there at the Park School. He was honored last night for senior night. He was honored for scoring 1,000 points in his career. And he is one of the better basketball players in Western New York for sure.
Yeah.
And I think because of the team's record, and rightfully so with that, he's not getting as much coverage, attention, because it's hard to give a ton of attention to the team that's sitting in 7th place in the league or, whatnot. But definitely have to give a shout out to Cam Barge and his skill. And along with, it's not just Cam Barge, it's Elijah Green. What a strong physical talent he is for that team. Great inside presence. Can shoot the ball from the perimeter. Had a couple hard dunks last night. And we're not talking breakaway dunks. We're talking dunks in a half-court set where he gets the ball and drop step or spin move and
Goes up and
hard flush.
Yeah.
Marquis Sutta is a junior there. I mean, all 3 of those guys were in the 20s last night in their points. Marquis a great shooter and just a scorer. But Elijah Green and Cam Barge, what a duo that Park has.
But Green is a junior?
No,
Green.
Sudduth is a junior.
So,
the other
okay.
2 are seniors, and they were both honored last night. And then Jeff Conrad, I don't know this for sure. I haven't done the research, but I'm going to assume he had a career high last night. He had 6 3-pointers in the game, just couldn't miss. And so Park was cooking offensively last night. And for Buffalo Science, you got a game-high 34 points out of Jaleel Flowers.
Sweet.
Damone Parker Jr., that's another really good basketball player for Buffalo Science. They've got a nice duo. And I got to say, Richard Dixon, not Richard Nixon. Richard Dixon, senior at Buffalo Science, that was a charge. He was called for a block. It was a charge. I got your back.
Who was the officials working the game?
I can't remember.
Right.
But
let me ask you a question though. Park, in the position that they're in, would you say they'd make a run, or could they be in position to play in that B game?
yes.
Yeah.
I think
a favorite to be in that game, or they got work to do?
so. The way the Manhattan Cup playoffs seem to be lining up, I believe I'm correct about this. So, and if I'm not, crush me for it. Looks like Timon is going to be sitting at that number 6 seed, Park at number 7. 8 would be O'Hara, 5 would be St. Francis. So you would have a St. Francis O'Hara game, and you would have a Park Timon game as pre-quarterfinals in the Manhattan Cup. That's what I'm thinking it's going to be.
Okay.
So the way it's all set up, there's 3 teams that can be in the running for Class B this year in the Manhattan Cup, and those would be Timon, Park, and O'Hara, because Nichols was already designated as an A going into the season. St. Francis, Canisius, St. Joe's, they're always A, or double A as we call it around here.
St. Mary's.
They're always large schools. St. Mary's is a B, but the way the league is set up, if you go over 500 in your league, which St. Mary's did this year, you get bumped up. Now so it's the Manhattan Cup tournament is a tournament to basically decide who is going to go off and play as our Class A representative at the state level.
Okay.
And there's only 3 teams left with this criteria that can go and play in that B state championship game, pretty much a bye right to a state championship. Okay. That's Timon, Park, and O'Hara. Likely O'Hara loses to St. Francis. They haven't picked up a league win yet this year. So now they're eliminated by a Class A team, which I'm pretty sure Pete Schneider has in place. That can't happen. You can't be eliminated by a Class A team in a B tournament. So then O'Hara gets a shot at double jeopardy. So Timon plays Park. The loser is just out because they got eliminated by a B. And the winner would then go to most likely a double jeopardy game the same night as the Manhattan Cup and play after the Manhattan Cup instead of before. Don't ask me why we do that. And winner then goes right to a state championship. So to answer your question, after a long-winded answer, Park, I think, has to beat Timon in a pre-quarterfinal and then pick up a second victory over O'Hara. Timon would need to do the same to Park and then over O'Hara. But that's how I think it's going down.
Thank you for the explanation.
I probably lost you.
You got it. No, you don't. You got to
hazy on me for a minute.
You do have some questions here. Cake, Western New York. I think that's you. I'm going to try and pronounce that word right. Thoughts on, Tapestry and Falls. We're going to talk about Tapestry and Global, but people want to know about Tapestry Falls.
So,
do you want to go into that game, or do you want to save it for later?
I can answer it in a roundabout way. So what I'm going to say is that Tapestry Global on Wednesday night was a terrific game. And it's where I should have been on Friday night, too. I went to Canisius Nichols on Friday night when I left the show, and it wasn't a great game. It was a pretty dominant victory by Canisius from the second quarter on, and it was just a formality in the second half. But meanwhile, over at Global Concepts, Tapestry and Global are playing their first game, and Global jumps out to a big lead, and Tapestry has to dig out of a big hole at the end of the game and comes back to win that game. And, they're trailing in the final minute of the game. It's just, West Side Bobby's over there sending updates. Sounds like I missed quite a game and quite an atmosphere. And, you don't always get it right, so I missed it on Friday, but I was there for the rematch on Wednesday. Another terrific basketball game. Obviously, with Tapestry being undefeated all season, we're well aware of how good Tapestry has been. They've been ranked number 1 all season. They rolled up an 18-0 record with some pretty impressive wins in there, like Middle College, Olmsted, Newfane, Global Concepts. So when I was leaving, I was, like you're walking out in the hall and you're passing people and you're saying, wow, what a game. And someone in the Tapestry, on the Tapestry staff, not a coaching staff, but like a teacher, somebody within that building said, oh, got an even better one tomorrow, because Niagara Falls was coming in. And I said in reply, well, I think tonight was your good game. I think I think the undefeated streak probably ends tomorrow. And I don't think that they agreed, or they thought like, well, now we're undefeated and we got Niagara Falls. I didn't think that the Tapestry Niagara Falls game was going to be this great game. I didn't go to it. I went to watch Park and Buffalo Science. I would have told you Wednesday night before that game, Niagara Falls is at a whole different level than Tapestry. Tapestry is an excellent small school, our best, but Falls is Falls. And that's really what we've seen this year. I think your 20th best large school is probably better than your best small school this year. And that I've never seen anything like that before, where all the best large schools seem to be better than our small schools. That might be the case this year. But Niagara Falls definitely, that's a top 6 large school. That's at a whole different level.
Okay. Hope he answers your question. Please hit that follow button if you're watching us on YouTube. Thank you to Farkas, who's doing who's like our resident security guard on YouTube today. Thank you very much. He's on his way to Florida, actually. He's driving, and he's monitoring the show all at once. He's good.
To just jump back to that Tapestry Global game, I got to say that Global Concepts, Jose Castro he is a point guard.
Yeah.
Such a talent for that team. I think he's just a sophomore. So a lot of the best to come for Castro, but one of the better point guards in Western New York.
Yeah, I saw him at Westfield.
Yeah, strong player too. I mean, he's built like a senior and
Looks
smart like a senior.
Plays like a senior.
And then Eric Davis, so strong, such a gamer, runs the floor so good, just gets buckets.
He gets up and down the court with ease.
That Global Concepts team against Wilson, just fast forward, get me to JCC championship. That Class C final is gonna be awesome. Yeah, that's a great basketball game. I can't wait to see how that goes. Global's a problem.
Yeah. Those two teams, to me, are not mirror images of each other at all. Maybe. I don't know. No, I don't see it.
I think they're different. I think it's going to be a good contrast to
I don't know if Wilson's seen a team like that.
No, they haven't. They've scheduled different style teams, but they haven't seen a team as athletic and talented as Global Concepts with a 1-2 punch like Global has. Wilson has Newman, who I think is the best player in that game, but Castro and Davis, the combination it's going to be great.
They got their work cut out.
And for Tapestry, I gotta mention Derek Triplett. The work that Derek Triplett does for Tapestry. He plays inside for him. He's a rebounder. He's a defender. He's a heady player. He's just I said to Mike Esther after the game, so you've got a deep team, but you don't have another Derek Triplett on this team. Derek just does things for Tapestry that are different. So he fouls out in that game.
That's what I was going to ask.
Aaron Bell has to come in and spell him at the end. And Aaron Bell, who is another very good basketball player for that team, I think they're both juniors, but Bell gave such important minutes at the end of that game. Some big rebounds, some big buckets late, and Bell filled in admirably at the end for Triplett. And Bell and Triplett have both been getting tons of minutes all year, so it's not like, like, okay, this is your chance, Bell. Come on off the bench and see what you can do for me. We already knew what he could do, but Triplett had been such a big part and had his fingerprints all over that game. And when he fouled out, Bell came in and helped seal that victory for him. along with the senior contributions all night to Jalen Coleman and Javon Funderburk. They had a great game.
So there was that. A couple other questions came in. Does Tapestry move down in the rankings after the loss to the Falls?
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely
you're playing
not.
a team that's
No.
considered considerably better.
Yeah, what's that got to do with the price of tomatoes?
Considered
You know what
considerably.
Falls would do to Wilson or Akron or Global Concepts or anybody else?
Yeah.
I'm not going to punish Tapestry for scheduling that game. I
We-
tip my
we-
cap to you for scheduling
absolutely.
that game.
He's also Jake WNY 1. I'm not sure who that is, but a friend of yours, a good friend of the show, I guess. He was asking about the Cat Little Valley and Forestville game tonight. Do you want to get into that, or do you want to answer that later?
I would predict a
Yeah.
Forestville victory.
You have your eye on that one.
Yeah.
You'll be monitoring, yeah.
Yeah.
Could you see Cat Little Valley stealing one?
No, I'm
Tough.
taking Forestville.
Okay.
I mean, I think Cat Little Valley should feel like they can go and compete, but
Yeah.
I'll take, based on all the results that have come in this year, I think it's an important game in the Southern Tier, but you got to pick someone that's going to win the game. I'll ride with Forestville.
Thank you
The
for your
Hornets-
questions.
The Hornets just beat Kiwanis by like
Yeah.
30 points.
Yeah.
Playing good basketball right now. They beat Sherman in the rematch last week and beat them. I don't even know if it was a rematch, but they got a hold of Sherman pretty good too.
Let's keep going here. Canisius Joes, what a finish. What a game.
What a finish! What a game! What a game! Canisius came out early and had control of the game. In the third quarter, that's funny. You're reading something. All right. In the third quarter, Gary Alexander was excellent for St. Joe's.
Yeah.
I think he finished with 22 points in the game. He might have had 18 in the third quarter, like 3 threes. He is the reason that St. Joe's got back into that game with what he gave him in third.
Yeah.
Pretty much did all of their scoring for him in that
Yeah.
quarter and kept him afloat in that game. And then Joe's was able to battle back in. J.J. Shanklin had a rebound in that game in the first half. That just has to be mentioned. I know it's just a rebound. If you were in the game, if you were in the gym and you saw the rebound I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It was like his hand was up over the backboard. He just jumped up and grabbed a rebound out of nowhere. I mean, he's a very good rebounder, but there
Yeah.
was just one that just had like that. Whoa, what just happened? Elijah Jones had a great dunk in that game, and it was in a half-court set. Like takes a feed from
I'd like to
Jack
see him do that
Cullinan on a
more.
roll, and
I'd like to
flushes
see
it
more of
down.
that.
And he was fired up, and that's against his former team, the Marauders, where he played last year, transfers to Canisius, and then rocks a boom against him. So he was fired up for that. But the game ends 3.7 seconds. It was interesting because Joe's only has 2 team fouls, and there's 3.7 seconds left. And they got to 2 team fouls because there was more time than that, and they used one of their fouls to get it to 3.7. So now they've got 2 team fouls. So now Canisius has to inbound in front of their bench, 3.7, and everyone's expecting St. Joe's is going to foul on the inbound, and probably foul as soon as that ball is inbound and foul, because you still got a couple more to give, and they didn't.
Mm.
Ball was inbounded to Cullinan, and
Carbon copy almost from a year ago.
yeah, and Cullinan
How amazing is
drains a baseline jumper. What a moment! It's
Yeah.
I don't even know if that ball was through the nets yet, and the Canisius faithful was all over the court, stormed it, swallowed up the team in a big celebration.
I will also give props to shoot.
That guy.
Yeah.
Props
No.
to Shoot.
The Canisius PA guy,
Bryce Hopkins.
Bryce Hopkins.
Yes.
That was cool. That was a good call at the end. I heard it.
What was interesting is that
I don't know how I heard it because I'm watching the broadcast. I thought you guys were in a closet. How did you call the game from the closet?
apologies to whoever watched the broadcast of the Centercourt game of the week, Canisius at St. Joe's. I apologize for not being a better producer that night. Ay.
It's amazing you were able to see it from your seats.
It is amazing.
We'll do better tonight. We'll do better tonight.
Show Dana's watching.
She'll get
That's
better.
fine.
Anyways, but no, that was a great game, man. You always get your money's worth, Canisius Joe's, and man,
So I'm recording that last shot with my phone as I'm doing the play-by-play, and when you watch that video back on Twitter, you can faintly hear my call of the shot, and the last thing you hear me say is, from the baseline or something, he hits the shot, and then all you can hear as you see the crowd swarming toward the camera as I'm recording it is Bryce Hopkins.
yeah.
And he held it for so long.
Did a good job.
Whatever I was saying, he drowned me out, and that's what you got back.
Good job,
recording.
Bryce. Good job.
Bryce. He's got some,
He's got some pipes.
people either love him or don't. I can tell you that. If you got to play there,
If you're at Joe's,
you
yeah.
can't stand that call. If
Yeah.
you got to play there, if you're St. Joe's, you can't stand the Bryce Hopkins PA call. If you're associated with Canisius, you love.
I think if you're a
some Bryce
basketball,
Hopkins. And
yeah,
if you're a basketball fan, you definitely respect
yeah,
the PA prowess of one Bryce Hopkins.
I do.
TJ Esco. EJ.
We talked Tap Global already, so we'll move on. We're going to go to Olmsted Middle Early College. Mech.
We can dance over it quickly and just say that
Mention it.
competitive game that Olmsted pulled out late, and they pulled it out because Takari McCray, big steal late in the game, a couple big three-pointers.
That'll do it.
Yeah, and so for Olmsted, they even the season series with Middle College, they will end up winning the league, or they'll become probably co-champs with Middle College, I guess. But
Okay. I would like you to touch on that game just because we talk a little bit more about Middle Early College over the last couple of years. They get a little bit more love than Olmsted does. That's why I wanted to make sure we mentioned this game.
yeah, well,
God bless
Olmsted got
Good
all
job,
the
guys.
love they could ever want by winning class or winning that semifinal last year and knocking off Middle College in the rubber match and getting to the B1 final. I will say for Middle College, Carl Barnes had a nice game for the Cats, and they've got an eighth grader. I think his name's Adrian Little.
Okay.
Built like a junior or a senior. He's different. Just keep an eye on that name, Little. Whether he stays at Middle College, whether he pops up someplace else. When you get a look at this kid, and then you eighth grade, you check back, and if he's in eighth grade, he doesn't look like an eighth grader. So
Good for him.
remember that name.
Falls Sweet Home.
Fall Sweet Home. That was a Saturday afternoon game almost a week ago.
Who called that game for us? Because we did it. Was that Jake?
No,
Jake did that game?
was Tim was on it.
Tim was on it? Tim Chifa?
Tim and
Morozek.
Tim Chisa, sorry.
yes,
Mark Johnson.
and
Mark and
Johnson,
Tim, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
it was Mark and Tim. Heidi produced it. I just watched from the stands. I didn't even take a computer that day. I just wanted a rec game. It was good. The highlight of that game for me, besides the play of the freshman from Falls, which is getting to be fun to watch, Gerard Scott and DeAndre Lewis. DeAndre Lewis is a nice point guard for Niagara Falls. But there's a moment where Catino Woods for Niagara Falls goes to the free throw stripe in the second half. And the gym's quiet as he's about to shoot. And Brandon Woods, coach of Sweet Home, his son hollers out, 6'7", and Woods airballs the free throw. And it was a pretty funny moment because the kid laughed so hard, and it kind of got the attention of the whole crowd, and then they were having fun with him, and he was pretty proud of himself for that, the 6'7" thing. I don't know, but, I mean, Brandon Woods, he was an assistant coach on El Monaco's staff back when I started doing The View from Centercourt in the early years. And it was probably his girlfriend at the time, who is now his wife. She was always there. I would always see her at the games, and Brandon is El Monaco's assistant coach. And, I'm sitting there on Saturday and to look over and then see there's his wife and there's his family, his children, a couple sons, daughter, and you just think like, man, how old we're all getting. Now Brandon's the head coach at Sweet Home, and very cool.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's always appreciative when we show up to do a game too.
Yeah, he's a gentleman.
Great guy.
Always has been. Sean McGrath was good for Sweet Home in that game. Quentin Wilhelm, he needs some recognition from Sweet Home. He's been on a little heater recently where he's had a couple 20-point games for the team. Really liked what I saw out of him when I was watching the Niagara Falls game.
Good. Yeah, I like Quentin. Nichols Canisius.
Nichols Canisius, we talked about it already. That was the game that I shouldn't have been at. I should have been at Global Concepts Tapestry on a Friday night. Instead, I was there.
Did you see Kleitz get his 2,000, or did you just heard about it?
No, that was Saturday afternoon when I was watching Niagara
Sweet
Falls
Home.
and Sweet Home.
So good job, Justice, reaching 2,000.
Absolutely. Major accomplishment, entering the 2,000-point club. No surprise. What I'll say about Justice is if he doesn't dislocate his elbow last season, we're probably right now talking about his pursuit of the all-time scoring record. And you look at what he's doing this year and averaging in the mid-30s, and we just haven't seen somebody average that many points
A long time.
in a game.
Did that kid from
or
Cheektowaga?
per game a season. No, he didn't.
Greg Dolan?
No.
Wow.
No. I mean,
Not even
Greg
games?
Dolan was
Well,
probably
what about the kid from
28 a
Salamanca?
game.
The kid,
Brown
yeah.
might have had 28 as a senior, 28 a game.
Okay, he was close.
I mean, to average over 30 points a game it's a very significant thing to do.
Yeah.
I would say I'll look it up real quick, but I'm going to guess that Swanson was there last year. He would have been
High 20s.
so Swanson last year a game was 31.5.
Wow. Okay.
I would say Kleitz is 4 or 5 points higher than that per game. That's very significant.
Okay. Why don't we take a quick commercial break?
Let's do it.
We're going to take a quick one, though. Thank you for watching. We'll be back in a minute after a word from our sponsor.
We'll rip some league champs.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
At Richmond Vona, we are seriously dedicated to bettering the communities that we serve. If you put your trust in us and hire us, we promise to take care of everything. Call us as soon as possible so we can start the investigation to fight to get you the settlement you deserve.
Build your next connection. Earn your next internship. Crush your next goal. What will you do next?
Welcome back to Centercourt Weekly. This is episode number 11. Chad, I don't know if you've seen this. You should have seen it by now, but we are in our second week of the magazine. We released it the first was last month, 2 Mondays ago.
Of course, I'm reading the magazine.
You got a spot
I'm
in there?
pimping your magazine.
Yeah, we got to get your picture in there. I think it's important we include your picture. Should we use your Twitter picture, or do you want a current
I
one?
mean, the Twitter picture looks better than anything you're going to find current.
Okay, let's go with the Twitter picture.
Good articles in there from Jerry Sullivan.
Yeah, Jerry's doing a good job.
Yes.
He's doing a good job.
Jimmy's tremendous writer.
So we've got the magazine going pretty good. The state rankings,
Yeah, you got state rankings in your magazine.
we do. You no longer do a weekly post on them. You get lazy, bored, tired, under the weather, or explain that.
Okay, so the reason I stopped messing with state rankings is, I mean, I used to poke fun at them a lot anyway and say, you know, according to the rankings, if the season ended today, this would happen and that would happen. And I appreciate what they're trying to do with state rankings.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's like a bunch of lobbyists, right? So,
Yeah.
hey, I'm your Section 6 rep, and so once a week I'm gonna, because you do them for the football. Once a week I'm gonna say, here's how our teams did, and here's who you should consider high and say whatever, and they get this from all the different areas and they put it together. But then they've got rules like, well, we don't put a sub 500 team in the state rankings, and like for a Niagara Falls, I would say, well, then that's a mistake because you can't disqualify someone based on their record if you know they're better than another team. Another would be, well, if a team hasn't lost, we can't move them even if the results that really start to come in firmly suggest the team we have ranked 17th is better all day than the team we have ranked 15th, but we can't move them because they haven't had a lot. You could if you really want accurate rankings. You just pull them out there in that regard. I think I just I didn't see the value in them per se. How would I say it? If you're looking at my top 10 rankings and you see that Orchard Park is ranked number 7 in Western New York and they're a AA, and North is ranked 9th and they're a AA. And then at the end of the year, Lockport wins the section. And someone said, Lockport wasn't even your top 10. Was that an upset? I would say, it was. It was an upset. Now, in the state rankings, you can have a team win a state championship that wasn't, and no one would even call it an upset because, we really didn't know.
Yeah.
So I just, at the end of the day, I just think it's not, and then also it doesn't even, the state rankings don't even reflect our local rankings.
They don't.
All the time, right? So you can have your local rankings, which everyone would subscribe to, and then the person who's giving the information to the state isn't even someone who's doing local rankings, but then it's somebody else supplying information to the state, because I have no part of that, and I know the gentleman that does, but it's...
I know with the football, we send them in Sundays, 9, 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, teams that I'll have in there may be pushed down further than what I had, or they'll flip teams. Like a couple times last year, I had West Seneca West football maybe a little bit higher than other people in the state. But I'm like, you haven't seen. You don't know what they're doing. I'm telling you, they're better than you think they are. And they'll flip them with another A school. Like they had Sweet Home above them at one time last year. I'm almost positive. I'm like, no, maybe 2 years ago, Sweet Home, but don't get confused. Sweet Home is not what they were last year. Going through changes. West Seneca West is better.
Right.
And they had like Sweet Home ranked above them. I didn't even have Sweet Home in my honorable mention.
You take the basketball state rankings right now, you've got Fairport is ranked behind Health Sciences. They're undefeated. They're ranked behind Health Sciences. We'll find out if those two teams end up playing. If Health can beat Niagara Falls in the section and
think
beat Jamestown in the section and gets themselves a shot with.
I think if we can get Falls and Health Sciences in that AAA, I think that would be, honestly, maybe the best game that we've had at Buff State since West Seneca Will South. I think it comes down to the absolute very last possession. I'm talking overtime.
It would certainly be a well-attended one.
Yeah.
Probably like that South West Seneca West game, which was my favorite game of all time. But that was a game that happened earlier this year, and Falls beat them by 1, and it's just like what you're saying. It came right down to the very last possession of the game, and it was a ultra-competitive game, and I'll remind everybody, Health has never beaten Niagara Falls. It's never happened. I think it's like 0-5 now. Another thing with state rankings, you got Wilson is ranked number 2 in the state. And, hey, maybe they are, but if you're ranked number 2 in the state, that says you're playing for a state championship, right? And so they're ranked ahead of all the Rochester teams, and I think, okay, so if you spend the season looking and, reading your headline and saying, hey, we're number 2 in the state, we got a chance to play for the state championship. If you get out of the regional, because I think there might be teams in Rochester better than Wilson. We'll find out. But
Good.
So the state rankings are...
Is what it is.
It is what it is.
League champs. The floor is yours.
All right, let's tell you who's winning the league. Some of them have already won. Some of them are gonna.
Oh, wait a second. Dominic Gonzalez, congratulations. 1,000th point, I believe, the other night.
It was last night.
Last night? Okay.
Last night he got his 1,000. George Benson with the coverage.
Love that, man. When are we going to put him on payroll?
George?
Yeah, we got to somehow get him on payroll.
He deserves some pay for what he does.
Even if it's just like food.
Canisius is your Monsignor Martin champion. That happened. Jamestown is once again ECIC 1 champs. ECIC 2, that title goes to Sweet Home. ECIC 3, it's Iroquois. ECIC 4, to be determined. It was Maryvale rolling along undefeated in league, and suddenly they're piling up losses, and something up with Maryvale, which I kind of know about, but we won't need to dive too deep into. But now they're losing games, and it's a whole different Maryvale look than where they were at, and so I think it could end up being East Aurora that wins that league.
Opened up a door.
It certainly did. It certainly did. And then ECIC 5, that is Tapestry, who won that. The NFL is Grand Island. Niagara Orleans League is Wilson. They are league champs. Chance tonight, if they take care of business at Akron and sweep Akron, you know what they would be? Undefeated league champs. And you know when the last time that happened was? 1991. You know who was the team's point guard then? Head coach Brett Sipple. The only time Wilson has ever been an undefeated league champ. They got a chance to do it again tonight with Brett Sipple behind the bench.
Okay.
Interesting tidbit, if you will. Yale Cup, you got Health Sciences. You've got Olmsted Middle College. You've got East. And then your CCAA 1, your league champion is probably a Fredonia-Dunkirk split. Dunkirk they got to win their last game against Allegheny Limestone. A little tougher path for Fredonia. Their last game is against Falconer. So not a guaranteed win for fun. But if they both win, they will be co-league champs. CCAA 2 champion is a co-split between Sherman and Clymer. Your League 3 champion, of course, is Randolph. Why wouldn't it be? They're always the league champ. And your League 4 champ is Forestville. I think that's all the leagues.
That is all the leagues.
Yeah. So the one that's real murky is ECIC 4. Who will win ECIC 4?
I will have to wait like everyone
Let
else.
us know. No, what are you giggling about over there?
It's everything
got
you
more
do.
stuff making you bust up today.
Top 20.
Top 20.
Let's go.
Number 20. You ready for this, Tim?
Oh, yeah. I was laughing at your hashtag.
What hashtag?
You have hashtag BS. You're going to get a lot of stuff you don't want to see.
Hashtag BS.
Yeah, playoffs. Less than a week. Enjoy. Hashtag BS. You probably want to type that out to Buff.
Buff State.
Yeah, I know.
What that means.
Hashtag Buff State.
Are we doing top 20 or are you jumping all over the place?
I'm jumping
right
all over the place,
Focus,
but that's what I
Frank.
was laughing
now?
at.
My gosh. Sorry, viewers. Sorry, Frank.
Does he
gets
know I
this
can't
way.
sit still? All right. Let's go. Top 20.
Number 20 is Timon.
Bishop.
Timon, St. Jude. What are you laughing about? Everyone's just there's so much humor in this room today that I'm not understanding. Number 19 is Fredonia. Number 18 is Dunkirk. We just talked about how close they are. They're going to be co-league champs, 19-18. 17, team slipping back a little bit in the rankings. Again, up and down, all around. Kenmore West.
In and out.
Which way are you feeling, Ken West? But they just...
Can you imagine if they beat Newport tonight?
Well, they lost by 4 in round 1. They'll need to win tonight. Newport fell right out of the rankings. They just lost to CSAT last week after losing to Lockport. There's 2 more in a row for them. So Ken West back to 17 after the NT loss. At 16, jumping back into the top 20 is NT. We got to remember that NT had that thrilla in Manila with Grand Island to start the year. Now they beat Ken West. They've beat... Yeah, they got some good wins this year. They had the 1-point game at St. Mary's. I know they're a good team, but like Ken West, like all those teams in the NFL really that aren't named Grand Island, you know, they're taking turns trading shots with each other. They make a top 10 or a top 20 interchangeable.
We got to play in that North tomorrow.
Number 15, team that took the more recent game in the series against North Tonawanda is Lockport. We are ignoring you, Tim. You don't have a mic, and we can't pick up what
Why
you're
don't you have a
saying, so
mic?
you just sound like background muffle noise over there.
Put a mic on.
Number 14, all the way up to 14 now is Iroquois, the artist formerly known as the Chiefs.
Now known as the Red Hawks.
Formerly known as the Iroquois Chiefs. 14, undefeated league champs.
Terry Koenig's team.
Number 13 is the team that they're going to visit on Monday, and I'll be there to broadcast it in the final Centercourt game of the week. Sweet Home.
Yeah.
Iroquois Sweet Home. Look at that. Look at how it all comes together, 13 and 14. Number 13 is the Sweet Home Panthers. Number 12, St. Francis.
Red Raiders.
Winning record, you look at their resume, there's just no reason to move St. Francis anywhere from where you have them. That's a good basketball team, and a good basketball team that next week hosts another good basketball team, a team that went in and battled St. Mary's to a 1-point game, and I'm talking about number 11, South Park. So next week you get St. Francis South Park, which I think is a juicy one. You also get Sweet Home Iroquois, another juicy one. That's impressive that South Park goes in and battles within one at St. Mary's, and probably exhausted themselves in the process doing it, because then last night against Health Sciences, they can't put the ball in the basket, and it's a defensive game, and Health gets a hold of them pretty good. But I think that Sweet Home's body of work, South Park's body of work this year tells me that that's a good basketball team, and that Health Sciences is another level elite.
And then the playoffs right after that.
Yeah. Playoffs are coming. I mean, the seeding meeting, so, yeah.
You ever attend those?
No, but I think I might this year, because the seeding meetings were always at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. up in West Seneca on a Saturday morning after I had been somewhere on a Friday night. You already knew how it was all shaken out anyway, and I don't like setting an alarm and getting up, and I like a little coffee time in the morning.
I think they do this on
know.
Zoom now, so you could probably cheat and just get in on Zoom. I think that's how they do it. Zoom in.
That's all there. I mean, you're going to watch a couple coin tosses and confirm where a game's being played. It's all information you can get anyway. So no, I've never been to one. But playoffs in less than a week. Seeding meeting is Wednesday morning. Playoffs start Thursday night. Today's Friday, so we're less than a week from the postseason.
Get moving.
Get ready. I don't know if people really realize out there how close the postseason is.
Yeah.
It is less than a week, and it's going to overwhelm you this year because there's games every night, here, there, everywhere. It's all over the place. The format stinks. I get that we're doing the best we can because the state jammed a sub-regional in our path, and that's why it has to be this way. But that's why the scheduling part has to be this way. The whole Buff State thing, that's a whole nother issue about why that has to be that way. But
another show. But your prediction?
Yeah, my prediction. So my unpleasant prediction for what's coming up. So this year you've got girls semifinals being played at Buff State, along with boys semifinals, all on the same day. And my prediction is that they're going to lose their face on this endeavor. That it was a bad move to make in the first place. And it's a bad move because before the boys were able to take their money that they made that day and funnel it into the whole process, and now you've got the girls playing there too. My concern, and there's my unfortunate prediction, I think by next year because we had to try this experiment in the name of fairness, and you would point to Title IX and tell me it's what's good for the girls is good for the boys, and then I always say, well, the boys make all the money. I think it's just going to be gone next year. I think you'd be lucky to have championships at Buff State. I think the semifinals will be gone, so the whole epic Buff State week that we've known, it's all just changing, and it's unfortunate.
It would suck. It would suck. Now, you've been around a lot of high school gyms. If they do pull Buff State, if they do pull the rug out, where is the best place for a high school basketball
Canisius
crowd?
High School.
They're not going there.
Yeah, I know. But you're asking. So, and there's no.
They're not going to move Buff State to go to a Monsignor Martin school. So let's.
So-
where would you go? Like,
I'd go back to Buff State.
Yeah.
I would just go to Buff State. I'd make it work. I'd stop worrying about everybody's
It's worked for all these years.
feelings about it. and
Like,
would
I don't-
wouldn't pull it out of Buff State.
I don't ever remember being at Buff State.
Who cares? You want me to give you a high school that's going to be a
Yeah.
good? There isn't one. There's
There isn't
nothing
one.
that's going to be Buff
There
State.
isn't one.
That we're not even going to touch it. You know what we're going to do? You're going to exclude fans from getting into games.
That's what you're going to do.
Right. You're going to make less gate. You're going to get less media coverage on games because there's going to be a game going on the same night someplace. It's a bad move for the whole product of high school basketball.
Yeah, I agree. Well, hopefully that doesn't come to fruition.
And I think with the I think you asked about a gym. Maryville's got this great new facility. It's got a great location in Cheektowaga. What's that?
Not big enough
It's not big enough for what?
to move Buff State to.
What if you put all the girls semifinals at Maryville? Is it big enough to host that?
Maybe.
I think it is.
Yeah.
That would be my solution. If I had a solution, I would say, let's just let some good common sense thought process play out here and say, okay, we did it this year. If we see that the girls are playing to largely empty crowds at Buff State during semifinals and we're not filling the arena, and then later on in the night you see that the real swell happens, or if the swell is happening during the second girls game in anticipation of the first boys game, you just got to be honest with how it's going and say, what do you got, graphics?
No, I was going to say trust the science on this one.
Yeah, trust the science. Yes, please. You know what I'm saying?
I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. But
That's what I
we got a good night of great night of basketball heading your way. Good weekend of basketball overall. It's been a really good season, top to bottom. I think though a lot of the
good seasons.
a lot of the teams that you talked about in episode 1 are right where you thought they would be 11 weeks later.
Probably. Yeah.
So
I'm excited for tonight. I'm excited for some Wilson Akron. There's some other good games tonight as well. There's that Ken West Newport game.
yeah, I do want to give out some shout outs to the guys that do a lot for high school boys basketball in the area. You know, Harry Skull, Dave Lyman.
How about Sean Turry?
I'm getting
All
there.
right, I'm sorry. Sorry to cut you off.
Joe Turry.
Joe Turry hasn't done anything.
He's done some basketball. Sean's our guy, right? Sean's our guy.
Sean's our guy.
Tony Pulvereni, behind the scenes and officiating, does a lot for high school boys basketball. Larry Jones, Pete Schneider, Marcus Harris, Coach's Corner.
Marcus does a lot. Westside Bobby does a lot.
Westside Bobby.
Julio.
George Benson.
West New York Hoop Mania.
Yep.
There's a lot of
There's
good.
a lot of guys I want to just give them some flowers today for helping us with the game. Matt Bradshaw, big advocate for high school boys basketball. You see him a lot at different games and stuff.
I don't. He's not getting
don't?
out to games like he used to.
Well,
He gets to a couple.
Yeah.
We talk a lot of high school hoops, though.
Guys that really push the envelope and try to bring awareness to high school boys basketball. We thank you for all you guys do. Timmy Gardner, all the graphics you do for all the WNY athletics games we get to.
Ryan Mountain
Rimo.
injected his face into
Yep.
the scene.
Yeah. Jake Viax out there doing some interviews for us here and there.
Mhm.
Thank you. Jerry Sullivan. He wants to be at a basketball game every night. He can't wait for Buff State.
I really appreciate the fan in Jerry Sullivan. As a guy who was a columnist for the Buffalo News all those years and worked on WGR and connected with the Buffalo Bills. There is a high school basketball fan in him that resonates with me, and props to Jerry for wanting to stay involved.
Matt Spielman, those guys down there.
Yeah, well, that's, I mean,
Braden Carmen.
yeah, what Matt does great work.
Yeah.
Matt does great work. So does Scott at
Yeah.
Jamestown Post-Journal.
Yes. Love all you guys and gals. Great show today.
Yeah, let's tie it up on this note. Guess who opted out of sectionals? Can you guess? We talked about it probably episode 1.
Not East.
Buffalo Arts. Again.
Let them play.
Let them play.
I mean, the seniors on that team.
Here's what I want to see if you opt out of sectionals. I think there should be a stipend clause.
A
right?
ban. You should be banned from playing next year.
You should know going in. It should be set up that if you opt out of sectionals, you have to give back some of your stipend, or not all of your coaching stipend comes to you, because you get out of some practices, you get out of a game, right?
They're probably on my flight to Florida on Monday. I won't be here next week.
I will.
Last but not least, can I give one shout out?
Shout who you want.
The BSAC Lakers. They won a big game on Wednesday night over the Celtics. My son actually hit a game-winning three-pointer.
Did he?
Yeah. He sucked the whole game.
Michael
He
Wolf,
was terrible the whole game.
you needed Jake Fyock on that call.
Fourth quarter, a minute and a half left. They were down by 1. He hit a three-pointer. He wasn't looking at the basket. In fact, I thought he was shooting at the wrong basket for a second, like he did the year before, but he had a game-winning 3. There's a minute 30 left on the clock, so I don't know if it wasn't like a buzzer beater, but no team scored after that. They won 3-0. Just kidding. They won 3-1. But my son actually hit a big shot. I couldn't believe it. Championship caliber team. They haven't lost all year.
Mike Wolf, you future sniper squad member.
Willie's problem someday. Turillo over there for football, licking his chops. He's gonna be doing a lot of gassers in his future, Tim.
Public-private debate. Can we real fast? Just real fast.
It's.
No,
Listen,
here's what I want to say about it.
There's a lot we could say. This is a whole show.
I just want to say this about it. The one thought that I always have when we get into the public-private thing is we are, along with Long Island, the only 2 sections that don't have the private schools in our playoff path. And that's still not good enough for anybody. We still hate on the private schools. If you're a public school, there's still so much,
There's a lot of
so many feelings.
Yeah.
But
I say this. There should be a championship for publics and a championship for privates, and then you play a federation at the end to whet everybody's appetite.
if you need to, right?
If you-
or don't.
yeah.
Or just
Do it or
have
don't.
Just have a public state championship and have a Catholic, and don't have a meet if we can't make all
Do you have
that.
charter schools in that? To me, I love you charters, but I send you to the private. You're not a public school.
I guess that's another debate.
It's another debate. But I move.
All I'm saying here's
Publics
the
and-
point I'm trying to make is that in Rochester and Syracuse and Binghamton, if you are a charter school, if you're a private school, whatever you are all in the same pool of playoff path. Not here in Buffalo. Here in Buffalo, you can be mad that Canisius is ranked ahead of you all year, and you can avoid playing them and whatever else, but you don't have to play them in the postseason. So why wouldn't you play them in the regular season? Why would you? Well, they steal all our kids. Do they?
This is what I say. If you're a public school kid transferring to a private school the next year, not an 8th grader, not a 7th grader, a 9th, 10th, or 11th grader, and 11th grader you can't for your senior year go into a private school, but you're not supposed to anyways. They don't take senior transfers. But a 9th, 10th, or 9th or 10th grader, if you're going to transfer into private school, you got to sit out a year. That'll end the debate. You got to sit out a year of that, whatever the sport is.
Why would we do that? Why would we make a kid sit out a year for?
I think that would at least calm the nerves of some public school coaches. It sucks.
Why do we need to take a year away from a kid to calm someone's nerves?
I don't know. I think that would be somewhat easier pill to swallow. Yeah, it sucks for the kid to have to miss a whole year. It sucks. I feel you, but you want to make it fair. You coach a kid, you throw your playbook at him for a whole year. You're working on him. All of a sudden, he up and leaves.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. It's a bitter pill for a coach to swallow.
Why is he leaving?
You got to ask yourself that question.
But maybe it's not about you.
Maybe it's not.
Maybe it's about him. Maybe it's about education. Maybe it's a family decision.
Should
Maybe
always
it's none of it. Maybe
it
he
should
just
be education
wants to go
first
to play with his
anyways.
AAU buddy. There's so many reasons for it.
Yeah.
But what I think the healthiest thing is to just say, take the Tapestry model. Tapestry has a nice model in place. I walk into Tapestry the other day, and the guy sees me come in. He's like, "Oh, we got you set up in here," and he escorts me right to my seat. And while we're walking in, he's pointing to the JV team who's warming up, and he's like, "Oh, that 8th grader and that 8th grader, he's going to go to St. Francis next year. He's going here," and they already know who is playing JV for him that's going.
Those guys getting
And
quality
then-
minutes?
Yeah.
Are they?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention.
Are they getting called up to varsity in playoff time? There was a kid in Hamburg not too long ago. They wouldn't call him up to varsity because they knew this kid was going to St. Francis. So they excluded him from varsity practices and all the other stuff. This kid from Hamburg.
Everyone handles their business different. But what
I'm
I'm
just
saying to the
saying.
Tapestry model is they know like Cam Barge was a varsity player at Tapestry and then he transferred out. But there's no ill will about it. And you'd say, well, that's because they're a charter school. And whatever the deal is, Mike Ester's take on that is whatever the kids feel is best for them. I'm here to support that and to coach the kids I got, and that's all you can really do is worry about what you have and win with what you have, and know that people are going to make their own decisions and they're going to go where they're going to go, and no, we're not really owed anything. That's what I think.
To that point, I agree with.
So I would never be okay with saying you got to sit out a year if you're gonna choose to move a school or whatever. I wouldn't get behind that. And I think that I think Rochester would have a lot more to complain about as it applies to private schools.
Fair enough.
Because Fairport could have the best team they've had in a century, and Aquinas could recruit an even better team and take their chances away of advancing in the postseason. That doesn't exist here.
Well, in Texas, the
fact that
private
that
schools
doesn't
get their
exist here.
in Texas, the private schools get their butts kicked by the public schools. Very rare do they transfer to a private school.
So
or
maybe that
whatever.
should be the focus. Let's just make the public schools so powerful that they kick the private schools' butts and they don't worry about them anymore.
It's one way to do it.
That is one way to do it.
It's one way to do it. I don't listen. What I don't like to see is today's. It's a different. It's a different day and age. What annoys me is when I see a kid posting that, in the middle of the summer, I'm going to Canisius or I'm going to St. Francis or Joe's or whatever. It's kind of like, don't kick a hornet's nest. Because the underlying issue there is you're saying, I'm not playing for this coach. I've had enough of it. This coach doesn't play me. He doesn't value me. I'm going over here where the grass is greener. And usually it's not, because the player who transfers is usually back at that school halfway through the year. In a lot of cases, I've seen kids go to one of the private schools only to come back to their original public school or another public school. And usually that entrance or exit, I should say, is a lot more unceremonious than when they were boasting about going to this private school. You don't hear about them saying, "Oh, I'm going back." Why? What happened? It's usually a bad look. That when they have to go back. The grass isn't always greener.
No. Sometimes I'm sure it is. Sometimes it's not. It all shakes out how it does.
Yeah. I couldn't cut it at the private school. I went to a private school my freshman year. I couldn't cut it. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have been able to cut it. I know athletically I wasn't cutting it.
I wasn't
don't think
going
I
there
would
for
have
it.
liked the
I
adjustment.
was going there for athletics.
I mean, it would have been an absurd concept to me back in the 90s to say we're going to uproot you from Wilson and send you to a private school. I would have said, no. But
Saint what?
But
I tell Michael all the time, I'd like to see you end up at St. Joe's. He goes, I got to go to church every day? I'm not going. Like, dude, it's a Catholic school. I'm not going to church every day. It's a half-hour mass, maybe 20 minutes.
someone's got to put the Lord first in their life.
I know.
Michael.
He won't. I'm trying to get him to
Keep working
get with
on it.
Jesus.
Keep working on that.
He's not Joe's material. Enough about that punk. I got to deal with him for a whole week.
Tim, thanks for today.
Yeah, you got it.
Good job.
Yeah, good job, guys.
Thanks for
Appreciate it.
listening, everybody.
You're going to be by yourself on the...
We're going to find out.
Episode 12.
There'll be an episode 12. There'll be an episode 12 next week. Tune in, see if it's me and somebody.
I'll see you for episode 13.
Maybe.
I hope.
If I'm back.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Never
Way to
know.
go.
Never know what life brings.
Magazine 2 is out there. You can read it. The hard copies are coming. You'll see them at various venues.
When's
the
online
week.
edition 3 dropping?
Monday afternoon. You'll
How
see
about it?
Probably about 3 o'clock.
There you go. So there's something else to look forward to.
We'll see if we can get your picture in that one.
Episode 3 drops Monday afternoon for the magazine. Still doing a banquet?
Boys basketball banquet emceed by Sal Capaccio, WGR 550.
Is it not
Is it
just the
WGR
boys?
55 or
Or is
WGR
it boys
550?
and girls?
Boys and girls together.
Okay.
March 24th. Tim, we're going to put out a graphic probably over the weekend of how you get tickets, because you don't actually have to be a basketball player. You can be a fan and you can come to the banquet. It'll be at Riverworks. Doors open at 6. Full buffet dinner 6:30. Entertainment. You'll be on stage at some point, handing out awards. The Centercourt Player of the Year. You'll present that.
Maybe. If it's determined by then. March 24th. I'll be in the state championships on March 22nd.
You'll be back in time. I'll Uber for you if you can't.
I'll drive myself. I like to drive. All right.
All right,
Gotta
boys
go
and
eat
girls,
some
thanks for
Curry's.
watching. You're going to Curry's. We got Fat Man's Pizza coming in, our official sponsor of WNY Athletics.
Wilson Akron tonight. It's going to be a great broadcast.
Ken West,
The
Looport.
production of it is going to be next level.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Drive safe.